Hey, it's Johnny Group from modernity.com. You know, I've talked many times about blue collar work and what I think about blue collar work compared to the gym training. I've said it many times before that blue collar is all you need to do if that's your job, okay? Because you actually do exercise on a regular basis, despite what anybody else wants to tell you. Where the problem comes is the lifestyle of a blue collar worker. Most of them don't take care of themselves, most of them don't care, they smoke, they drink, some do drugs, they just don't eat bad food, they just don't take care of themselves, they do no conditioning. But actually there's a name for blue collar work, and well, first of all, blue collar work is the most primal thing we have out there today. Anything you're doing blue collar is more primal than white collar. Because a white collar guy, he gets out of bed, walks to his car, walks into a building, and sits in his ass all day. Where a blue collar worker, they may sit, but they're also working. They also got to do different things throughout the day. Where the white collar worker, the only time he's getting up is to go to the snack machine, the bathroom, or to go home. Or to go outside and smoke a cigarette, which I've seen many times. Anyhow, there's a word for blue collar work, it's called industrial athlete, which makes a lot of sense because you look at UPS, FedEx, LTL truck drivers who pedal freight all day, mailmen, anybody that's outside, loggers, anybody that's outside all day in a different environment, heat, cold, I mean, they're moving their body, they are athletes, okay, because they move on a regular basis in different environments. And if you think about it, the people that go to the gym are often hurt or sore, which a lot of them then, they got to recover, and they don't go to the gym, or they go and they do different body parts, whatever. Where the blue collar worker, he may be sore or something, but he's going to go to work the next day, okay? And he works through that most of the time. Anyhow, I've said many times before that there's a crossover between blue collar work and lifestyle and even sports. Okay, that's why my training has changed from traditional weight training to what I do now, which is fucking basically chaotic, whatever I want to do type training. Mixes everything up. Footwork drills, throwing things, dragging things, carrying things, just all kind of different things. Isometric type things, tendon and ligament strengthening and things like that. Because I found over the years a lot of the things that happened when I was traditionally weight training was that a lot of things were weakened from certain exercises that were natural. Anyhow, got a book here, I'm going to read something. Thought it was pretty interesting. Tough for me to see here, but okay, the data contradicts previous perceptions that tendons are simply non-elastic plastic wrap. This is a huge realization for me. For years, trainers have fixated on increasing power by making athletes stronger, focusing on specific muscle groups or body parts. Michael Dalcourt, director of the Institute of Motion, discovered this early in his career while training hockey players at the University of Alberta. My viewpoint was at the time was strongly rooted in the notion that we were made up of certain parts. I thought training these parts one by one was the most important factor for success. For 3 years, I trained hockey players to develop their speed, strength, and agility in a 14-week off-season training program. Then every season, I would ask the scouts how my players were doing. For 3 years, the answer never changed. They need to improve their strength on the puck. Discord found this oddly because strength was exactly what he thought he was training for. This prompted him to ask the obvious follow-up question: who's beating my players to the puck? The inevitable answer was always the farm kids. Everyone in the sport knew the toughest players were the farm kids, but it made little sense on the surface. They didn't train with weights in the gym. They didn't periodize training stress. They would rarely overload a muscle or perform the same motion repeatedly to get stronger. While the gym kids often looked bigger and stronger, these farm kids were truly functional. Everything they did was performed with varying loads in all three planes at various speeds, with various ranges of motion. They simply called it doing chores. Moving farm equipment, shoveling, lifting things, squatting, crouching, rotating, lunging, pushing, pulling, etc. There was always a task-based objective, and their bodies got the job done as efficiently as possible. Isolation training doesn't exist on the farm because it's too inefficient. The body is naturally designed to spread forces of stress out into the system through each joint and tissue in the body. The more effectively that is accomplished, the less injury will plague the system. So, there's just another example of people have found that just being in the gym does not necessarily make you a stronger athlete, but by lifting heavier weights. So you can take what you want away from it, things like that, but there's so much proof out there that the traditional weightlifting is old school. It was something that was invented, something that we would have never actually done. Weightlifting, even old-time strongmen, that was their job. Most of the old-time strongmen come from a blue-collar background. Most fighters in the back in the day, wrestlers come from a blue-collar background. That gave them all their strength and their conditioning, basically, to get them to be able to even start to do those things. Because it was more prevalent back in the day, obviously, was blue-collar work. However, you can take away what you want with it. So, later.